All right. All right. All right. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Want to welcome you guys to the Clear channel. Obviously, you can find us on YouTube. We put a lot of our stuff on TikTok, on Instagram. So if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm excited today. We got one of my very good friends, Cooper Brown, on today. You know, he runs a business, and he's going to tell you a bit about his background and where he's from. But he runs a multi-million-dollar business, and I'm excited to have you on today, Cooper. Good morning.
Morning, man. How are you?
I'm great. I'm
Good,
great.
good,
So,
good.
Cooper, I mean, let's just, it's gonna be more of a fireside chat, right? We're just gonna talk some shop a little bit, talk about life, tell some fun stories,
Yeah,
and if you don't mind sharing a bit of your wisdom.
yeah,
But so tell me about life. Tell me, where did you grow up?
yeah,
Tell me about family. Tell me about, you know,
yeah.
little Cooper
I'll give
before he got into the business world.
the slightly abbreviated version. So,
Sure.
born and raised in Tennessee. If you can't hear based off of the accent, but grew up right outside of Nashville. As me and my mom, so single mom. She did everything, so she's awesome. I played baseball my whole life, growing up, and then ended up going to college to play baseball, and my route was a little bit different than everybody else's. But I went to a Division II school out of high school. I wasn't very recruited. I worked very, very hard. I redshirted. Ended up going to a junior college. Played in junior college for a little bit, and then I ended up at Appalachian State. So go Mountaineers. I graduated from college with a degree in cellular and molecular biology, which I currently do not use, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to be a surgeon. I want to be an orthopedic surgeon. Looking back, I wanted to be a surgeon because I knew that I wanted to help people. I wanted to be around sports, and I wanted to make money so I could take care of everybody around me. So I graduated, and then I went and talked to my medical, or not my medical school advisor, but my bachelor degree advisor about going to medical school, and he was like, "Hey man, we're going to need to take 1 or 2 years off, maybe more than that, just to get ready to go do all the preparation work, shadowing, take the MCAT, all that kind of good stuff." And I was like, "All right, well, that's fine. I'll move back home, work a normal job, do some shadowing, and then 1 or 2 years from now, apply to med school and go be a doctor." So I started doing math, and I was like, "Well, if that's the route I take, I graduated at 23, I'm off for 2 years, 25, 8 years, give or take 30, I mean, at least 30 plus whenever I just get out of school starting to make money." I was kind of starting to second guess my idea of being a doctor. And then I started shadowing surgeons, and every surgeon, if they're using medical device, has a medical device sales rep in the operating room with them. So I'm just standing next to the sales rep, and then the surgeon's doing the surgery. And this surgery did not go to plan. They had to do it over and over again. And at one point in time, the surgeon looked around at the device rep and says, "Do you have any ideas on what to do?" I was like, "Oh no." He may not be the expert that I thought they were, right? I thought doctors just knew all the answers, go in, take care of it, works great every time, and then they get out. So I had a little rude awakening there. And the sales rep talked to me. She was like, "You talk pretty well. You seem to be people oriented. I don't know really why you want to go into surgery. All the surgeons I work with don't seem like that. You seem more like a salesperson." I was like, "Interesting." I was like, "Well, tell me about it." She was like, "Well, we have more fun than they do. We're not as stressed out as they are. We make good money, and I just get to talk to people all day long, right? Like I'm working, and we're just hanging out in the corner talking right now." I was like, "Okay, valid." So I'll do that. Pharmaceutical sales is what I wanted to get into. This is back in 2019, and nobody would hire me because I didn't have any sales experience. I'll do what everybody else does when they want sales experience. It's like look up entry-level sales and blast your resume out to a bajillion places if possible. And then ended up finding our business as the first interview I took. Really enjoyed my time with Justin. Whenever I first met Justin, enjoyed my time with Cole when I met Cole. And I was like, worst case scenario, I get good sales experience with some cool people. And then, best case scenario, we'll see where it takes us. And then obviously went through COVID, did everything, opened up my office or my business in February of 2022. We did over $1 million in revenue in 9 months, and then last year we kicked some butt.
So, so tell me. So you played a lot of baseball. You go Division II,
Yep.
and work your way in the baseball world. do you think your athletics, your kind of what you learned in athletics growing up as a kid, dealing with, winning, losing, all that, starting lineup, not starting lineup, stuff like that. Do you think that has helped you in business?
1000% without a doubt in my mind. So baseball by nature is a failure-based game. Even if you're really good, you fail a lot. So I had to get really comfortable with failure early. And then like the route I took was because I was not the most talented person. I was never the most talented person on the field, but I could confidently look people in the face and tell them that I would outwork them. And you can just back check it and call anybody that played with me or coached me, and they'll tell you the same thing. Like I will outwork everybody. So that was the whole path. Is I had to outwork everybody to go from Division II into a junior college setting where you have very little resources, and it really is up to you to eventually get to achieving the Division I dream. And baseball, hard work, failure, right? Camaraderie, getting to know people. I went to 4 schools in 4 years, so I had to get good at making friends early.
Wow.
So it was like talking to strangers was nothing to me. It was just like going to right? So it was like I had to get good at making friends. I had to get good at all the things that now looking back made me really good at sales, because I had to be
right.
Did in a lot of different things because I'm meeting different people all the time. So I have to know a little bit about some certain stuff, right? Or geographical differences or whatever it may be. So yeah, I 100% think my athletic career played a massive role in preparing me for business.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think about my athletic career, and obviously a path similar, a little different, but similar, playing in school. And I remember, I don't know if you know this, but I got cut from the Penn State soccer team my senior year because I didn't score enough goals, and I was a scholarship athlete, and I didn't perform up to the level of, they paid tens of thousands of dollars for me to go to Penn State. I told the coach go to fly a kite because I thought he was just picking on me and all this other stuff. I end up staying my 4th year, and I played my 5th year out of spite because my roommates were like, listen, we got to do this. We're doing this for us. We're not doing it for him. And I started my entire senior year and was 2nd or 3rd in the team in stats. You know what I mean? So it's like I got the thing ripped out of my heart that I loved my entire life, and I had to rebuild myself, reconnect with who I am, my strength, get back on the field and prove everybody wrong. Right. Yeah. And it sounds like you did that over and over too.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. And obviously, so you fall into the industry of sales, what was the first thing you sold? Were you doing outside sales, inside sales? What type of sales was it?
We were selling TV and internet. So it was just regular, outside sales, face to face, a lot of rejection, a lot of yeses, but good face rejection. So it was an eye opener from biology class to in-person face-to-face sales. Was quite an eye opener, but I enjoyed it.
And so what would you tell someone that's maybe young in their career? Maybe they're an athlete, maybe they're not. Maybe they have experience in dealing with people, maybe they don't. Obviously, we do a lot of training and we get people up to speed. Mm-hmm. But if you were to tell someone their first month in their sales career, starting over, and again, your business did over $1 million last year. You're on pace to do close to $2 million this year, from what I saw. And how old are you, by the way? Do you mind me asking? You're 27 years old, and you run $1 million company. What would you tell yourself? What if you could talk to little Cooper, Mini Cooper? Mini Cooper.
Yeah. Man, I think I would anybody, right? Anybody that's starting early on in sales, I would tell them be in control of the things that you're in control of, and anything else, protect your attitude like it's Fort Knox, right? Everything that's not inside of your control is not allowed to affect your attitude. And if you can take care of the little things that you have control over, work ethic, attitude, how do I show up every day? How do I dress every day? What is my self-talk like? How do I coach myself after a bad outing or a bad instance? Do I get down on myself quickly? Am I my biggest fan, right? So I would control all the things that are inside of my control, and that's where all my focus goes. And then anything that's outside of my control, it is what it is, and I figure out whether I move left or right after the situation. So I think a lot of people have an issue where they want to control everything, and it it's discouraging when things don't go your way if I'm trying to control everything. But if I can differentiate inside my control, outside of my control, and things that are outside of my control, if they attempt to make me lose my attitude or try and get me to lose my attitude where I get upset or whatever, I can identify outside of my control and like, hey, it's nothing I did wrong that caused that thing.
Right.
And I can just choose to have a positive outlook on it. Like an easy example is like a flat tire on the way to work. Like one person can look at it and like, grr, I'm going to be late, and this flat tire has ruined my whole day. Now I got to buy a new tire. And they're upset, and they take that all day long, maybe all week long. Whereas I get a flat tire on the way to work, I'm like, awesome. I'm glad I got that flat tire. What could have happened, what could have happened is 10 minutes down the road, there's a massive wreck that I don't pay attention to, and I get into it. And this flat tire saves me from it, right? So like, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I choose to believe that that's the positive way to look at something. So I'm very in control of my perspective on when I look at things. Like if I can just choose to be optimistic, that's going to benefit me more than being more pessimistic leaning. That's like the biggest advice is like, if you can control your attitude and how you feel about everything, well, the rest of sales is just skill set. Well, if you get around people that know it or can do it or perform at a high level, you just copy the skills that they have and you get the skills. But the hardest part is attitude. Right? I say it all the time, like the most expensive real estate in the world is the 6 inches between your ears. Right? I don't know who I copied it from, but it's a great saying because it's true. It's like a vast majority of people don't have control over their mentality, which
it's so true. I said yesterday in one of our meetings, the two most important things you need to think about in a day is what you eat, what you put in your body, because there's, the nutrients or lack thereof that you put in your body determines how you feel and how you make movement and take action. And second thing, what you put in your mind, what you consume, whether it's, news or social media or whatever that is that goes up here. It's like nutrients for both, right?
Yeah.
So true. So true. The most expensive real estate is the 6 inches between your ears. I love it. I love it. So talk to me about leadership. So we got a lot of people that jump on this channel that want to learn about leadership. I mean, they want to be you, right? In their mid-20s, $1 million company, first year running a business. That's like the top 0.5%. Most companies go out of business. Most companies, if they don't out of business their first year, they got a business their third year within 5 years. Mm-hmm. You've obviously done none of that, and you've succeeded, and you're one of the best in our industry, to be fair, right? Top 10 in revenue this past year. Mm-hmm. So tell me about just the leadership side of things. So again, if I'm a leader and I want to learn about myself, I want to make an impact, I want to grow professionally, what was a big hurdle for you? What was a big challenge? Yeah. Any advice?
So I have a quote right next to my computer I look at all the time. So the quote is, leadership is about inspiring others to believe and enabling that belief to become reality. Leadership is not about you, but it starts with you. So I think leadership there's a massive difference between boss and leader, in my personal opinion. A leader is somebody that has done the work, will do the work, will get in the front lines with you. Hey, I'm in a time of need. Okay, cool. Let me roll my sleeves up and let's get out there. Right? A leader is somebody that if somebody calls them and they need help, their car is stuck, right? They backed into a ditch, right? It's 10 o'clock at night. Who do they call? Well, they're not going to call their boss. They're going to call somebody that's a leader for them, or they're going to call somebody that they can count on. I drive a big truck from Tennessee. I enjoy trucks, right? People that I have either pulled out from the snow or pulled out of a ditch or a gravel drive or whatever it is, right? It's just being there for your people all the time. And leadership for me is not what can these guys do for me. I think that's where a lot of people get confused, right? I want these guys to do really well for me because of this selfish reason. Leadership is like, I want you to get everything that you want. And as a byproduct of that, I'll probably accomplish some things that I want along the way. But people are much more willing to go to bat for somebody or to support somebody or really work their hardest when they know somebody's got their best interest in mind, right? And they take coaching much better as well whenever they know, like, hey, I'm here for you. Like, I want you to win, first and foremost. Now, I think this, and this is going to help us win more, and that's going to be uncomfortable because we haven't been doing it recently. All right, so they know, anybody that's on my team knows, like, hey, if he gives me advice, it's because he thinks that this is the best option. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Sometimes I give bad advice, but it comes out of the intent of, hey, this is going to help us. And then we just look and we look at our results. And if we got to maneuver, we maneuver. So I think leadership is all about how I come through for everybody else, or you come through for everybody else.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I think sometimes a young leader makes that mistake, right? They think about what they can get out of it as a leader first, as opposed to, hey, lean into helping other people. And I remember, Vera, who we both respect a ton, said the role of a leader is to help your people get what they want,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
And you help them, you help enough people get what they want, then indirectly you'll get what you want. So.
Yeah. I made that mistake a lot, man. It's just when I was early on in my career, it was like, hey, I'm trying to hit these goals and these metrics and these numbers, and I need as many people as possible. And I'm going to make them really good. And then like, hey, good luck, dude. I got to find somebody else. Right. And I was just stuck in this hamster wheel of not growing really as a team or as a business. And then I had some mentors come in and be like, hey, man, it's not about you and what you want. And that's when the switch flipped, and then we've really been gaining a lot of momentum since.
I love it. And tell me about business. So you were how old when you started your first office, your first business?
I was 25 when I opened my business.
So 25, and where was this business?
Knoxville, Tennessee, East Tennessee.
East Tennessee, Knoxville. Are you a Tennessee fan? That's where Tennessee's from, right? University of Tennessee.
I hope that Tennessee wins because it's great for business. But until I die, Appalachian State all the way. I will be a fan of the team. You pay me
Nice.
from play sports. I am a fan for life. So
I love it. No, fun fact. Actually, my assistant coach back in the day went from Penn State to coach at Appalachian State this is late '90s. So you were very young. Or wait a second. I was gonna say before you're born.
depends on
Yeah. All right. So you're in your mid-20s, and you're running your own company. What was that feeling like?
Imposter syndrome is what it was. Very early on, it was very much so imposter syndrome. I was just doing what I've always done for 2.5, 3 years, building my business, and now I'm starting to receive the results of all the hard work for years and years, and it just didn't seem real. It was like, I don't really know if they know that I'm not special. Like, it's just me.
I don't know if they know this yet.
Are you sure? Like, is all of this right? Because it's just me. I'm just doing the same thing I've always done, but the results and growth was like the perfect example of delayed gratification, right? I really, really busted my butt for 3 years, and after that, I start to see really great results coming in. So it took me a while to get acclimated to it. I was like, I'm just going to save as much money as possible because they might eventually realize that these are wrong some way, somehow. Right. So it was very eye opening early on. But it was also rewarding because I had a lot of friends and people around me that gave me bad advice early on and were like, man, you don't need to work as hard as you're working. Come hang out with us and do happy hour downtown. Come to this thing on Saturday. We're doing a pool party. We're going to the lake or whatever it was. And during the time, I was like, man, I'm just not going to. I got this vision that I'm set to, and I'm full gung ho 100 miles an hour. Once I'm really established and I'm accomplishing a lot of my goals, like, okay, I'll take a transient time to the lake or to the pool or to a happy hour, whatever it is like that. But none of these guys really understood. And they would like poke fun at me or just say this, that, and the next. And then now where I'm sitting versus where these guys are is like, they're on their 4th job from the time that they were giving me crap, and I'm really enjoying what I do. I get a ton of fulfillment about helping people reach their goals. We got another person getting ready to go open up a business and take their own opportunity and run with it. And I'm really happy and thankful now, but at the time being, it was a little stressful, but happy and thankful now. So running a business is by far the best decision that I've made.
It's that old saying, be careful who you take advice from, right?
Yeah.
I remember my college roommates were like, you work 100% commission and you're doing door-to-door sales. Like you couldn't get a better job than that, you know? And I'm like, first of all, you're broke.
Yeah,
And second of all, you're still in college. Go fuck yourself. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. Like what?
Why would I listen to you as opposed to people that are doing really, really well? And you know, I wonder what they thought. Didn't you just go to Italy like a week ago or a few weeks ago? What were you doing in Italy? And that was this year, and that's not last year. What do you mind sharing a little bit? What did you do in Italy this year? So obviously our broker gave this big contest, and you're a pace setter, and you got a chance to go. So what did this trip to Italy look like for that gig your buddies gave you shit about?
Yeah, right. So it started off. My girlfriend and I went early to Paris. So we did 3 days in Paris. Just go out there, hang out, see all the stuff, eat all the food. We ate dinner twice a night, so we're getting our fill for all the French and Italian food. But yeah, once we left Paris, we went to Rome. We did all of like the historic sightseeing, Colosseum, Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, all that good stuff. We were in Rome for 3 days.
I
Dinner
heard it. I heard at the Vatican, you guys got a private tour. Like the
completely
entire
exclusive.
place was closed.
Yeah, there was nothing but Cardinals in the Vatican. Us and the Cardinals.
Right,
So it was
right. It was at nighttime or something. That's the
Mhm.
feedback Adrian told me. She's
right
like,
after.
yeah, it was all private tour, walk in, not with the crowd. It was like all private.
Yeah, all private, no crowds. Got to see the Sistine Chapel completely empty. We got to see everything in the Vatican
Wow.
completely empty. It was a crazy experience. And after Rome, we went to Sorrento down on the coast. Had a couple of boat days there. Had a yacht day. We rode over to Positano, ate lunch in Positano, rode the boat back. Then we went to Florence up in wine country, had a couple of wine tasting events, a couple of museums, got to see the David. We just got to do a lot of stuff, and it was
You saw a
awesome.
lot of David.
A lot of David, the big David statue. But yeah, we did a whole
I
lot.
went there, by the way, I went there in college. My experience was totally different than what you're talking about. I was staying in hostels. I
Yeah,
was with everybody else. I was like pinching pennies to eat lunch.
yeah.
You
And
know
we
what I
were,
mean?
yeah, we were staying in the St. Regis, and I didn't touch my bag from the time that my plane landed until I landed back home. It was always taken care of. So it was just, I've seen a lot of other ways to go to Europe, right? There's ways to do things and levels to do things, and we were at the highest level. So it was awesome, top to bottom. It was an awesome experience.
I love it. And then last year, for being a top performer in the industry, where'd you go last year?
Bora Bora. I didn't get to go. I missed out on the Bora Bora.
Oh, okay.
Little sore spot, but I'll be there on the next one.
Got it. Got it. Okay, cool. So thinking about this experience, right? Running a business, doing sales, you know, your buddy's giving you shit. Obviously, you didn't like it's this in my eyes. You didn't go to college to come out and do door to door sales, or I know we do retail in our
Mhm.
office, right? No, I don't think anyone says, you know what I'm going to do, mom and dad. I'm going to do some door to door sales. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And they'll be like, that sounds amazing. Instead of being a doctor, you know
that's
what
what
I
I was
mean?
hoping for. Yeah,
That
no,
was over for, you know? So, but, and there's people that go through that, right? And they have those friends and those people that, maybe don't support their decisions or support but then you believe something a little different. You believe that you feel good about what you're doing and those changes. So what thoughts do you have around that? What advice do you
yeah.
have for young people
I mean,
that are,
I
I
got bad
mean, and they're
advice.
actually your age. I say young people because they're younger than me, but they're your
Yeah,
age.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
got bad advice from everybody. The people I care the most about, this, that, and the next, right? So like, my mom used to say it all the time. She's like, you work a lot. I'm like, I know, mom. She's like, you could go to med school. I'm like, I know, mom. Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? I'm like, just give me a couple of years. Let me shoot for it. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back to med school. And then I got to having a conversation with my mom, I don't know, a year ago or so. And I was like, hey, if you had a certain number in cash and you could just retire immediately, what's that number? And that was the coolest conversation I've ever had, right? And she wouldn't give me a straight number, and I don't want you to whatever, right? But at the end of the day, the ability to just have that conversation and take care of the person that did everything and sacrificed everything for me is my entire life growing up. It's the whole reason why I do what I do, is to take care of the people that mean the most to me. So like people give you advice because they're trying to help, but the advice they give can only come from the perspective they have. So if I'm working in a job that I'm not super happy with, in a growth environment that I'm not super happy with a pay that I'm not super happy with, or it's just okay, like that's not the route that I want to go down. Like typically your advice got you to where you're at. So I still love you, but the advice I'm just not going to take, because the way that I view advice is if I'm not happily willing to trade places with you immediately, I'm not going to take the advice. Right. So from a young 20s, like I realized like I'm not going to take financial advice from anybody with a net worth less than $1 million, because that's not the direction I want to go. So my financial advice people are, well, high performers, right? And the people that aren't, I'm not taking advice from. Like, oh, you should definitely buy that, blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe not. Maybe we'll wait. So yeah, you're going to get that advice. You have to have your own filter. All right. Even
Makes
better
sense.
if you got mentors that you can help filter things through, that have been like, no, don't do that. I made that mistake. Right now, I'll take the wisdom.
I felt that pain. I know that pain. Don't do that.
Don't do that one. Like, got it. Cool. Won't do that.
I love it. And listen, I know I just saw you down in Florida, was that 2 weeks ago at the charity event that, we spent a lot of time, and I'm sure you donated and obviously your time and money to as well. What do you think about giving and charity? And actually I got right over here. I got the little hat
I
that
wore my shirt yesterday. I wore my butterfly shirt yesterday, but I think I'm gonna say it first. It's gonna sound weird, and then I'm gonna clarify. But I think that giving and charity is selfish. This is why. The feeling that I get when I get to help people that are in need or that are without is I feel great. Like it's just an immediate jump up. It's another energizing moment to, hey, like let's go do even better so we can give even more next time. Or let's go donate some time and head down to the orphanage and spend time with the kids and get to know them and hang out and break bread and just talk to them, right? And see if we can fix some things up or help here and there. And they get great benefit out of that. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying they don't. So they get great benefit out of that. The benefit that I get just from the donation of time, money, energy, thoughts, whatever it is, like it's incredibly rewarding for me personally, right? So like that's kind of why I think it's selfish. Now, obviously, there's a selfless component where I'm donating things and giving stuff up, but it makes me feel great. Like I think that no matter where you're at, you can find a sliver of your budget that you can use to benefit other people. And then my personal opinion, how energy works in the universe is like, that's going to come back to you tenfold at some point in time, as long as you maintain doing all the right things.
Yep. Agreed. And you've been down to the orphanage. I've noticed. And, I mentioned this when I got a chance to speak at that event. There's just something about those kids, man. They have such a positive attitude. And I'm sure I saw it when I talked. I was looking around the room. I could see you shaking your head. Like it's crazy, right? I see you smiling. Like it made such an impact on me. Yeah. Right. And it seems like it did the same for you.
Yeah. The perspective that those kids have coming from, relatively speaking, anywhere else in the world is like really bad situations. And not one time did I see somebody in a bad attitude or not smiling or not playing or not having fun. Like it was just, it's always a good reminder that your attitude is a choice, right? There's people here that have had a phone since they were 10 years old or whatever, and these kids don't have phones and they don't have the PlayStation or the Xbox or the whatever it is. And they get them from time to time or whatever, but right. Like they can choose to be that happy and no matter what circumstance or history that they have. And you woke up in your own bed today with air conditioning and you decide to have a bad attitude. Like that's outrageous, and one of the hottest places on the planet close to the equator, no air conditioning, just fans. And these kids are happy from the moment that they wake up to the moment that they go to sleep. They're probably happy while they sleep too. I just couldn't tell.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Such an incredible, of all the trips into the places I've been on the planet, that experience for me was absolutely moving. It was really neat. All right. And I know we're coming up on 11 o'clock. I know you got a busy schedule today. Any final thoughts for everyone that jumps on the channel? Thank you so much, Cooper, for jumping on today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm a Cooper fan, just so you know.
I'm a Ken fan. I think that my little parting wisdom is you can use a lot of different things to influence you personally. And if you get meticulous about the things that you choose to let infiltrate your brain, you can accidentally get better. What I mean by that is you like, you comment, you subscribe, you get on this YouTube channel, and anytime somebody comes out and they put out good content, you get to watch it for free. And I'm accidentally going to pick something up from somebody somewhere along the road. So if I accidentally infiltrate my social media with just positive stuff, whether it be mindset or business or motivation or discipline or whatever, I can just infiltrate my social media. That way, if I'm laying down at bed and I'm ready to go to sleep, like I may accidentally get better at 11 o'clock at night. You know, you just set your life up to where things are going to work out in your favor over time because you do all the right habits for a really long portion of time. Things typically work out if you keep your good attitude, you work really hard, and you try and come through for the people around you.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Cooper. Appreciate your time today. Hang tight for me 1 second as this thing downloads, but happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for jumping on live. See you guys.